Hey guys, I'm Kristen with ICStarsQuilting.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go through a fun tutorial because we all love a good jelly roll, right? I mean, when have you not gone into the fabric store and been tempted to buy this beautiful little packaged cute roll of fabric that is all coordinated and like looks like you could do a million things with it, but then you take it home and you feel like it's too precious to cut? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I want to find the right project for it. I decided today that ends, and I'm going to teach you how to do a very easy block that is going to turn your jelly roll into something that is worthy of actually cutting your jelly roll. Now, unfortunately, I've already cut into my jelly roll, so I can't show you like a picture of it with it all nice and pretty, but this one right here is another picture of the exact jelly roll that I'm using today. It's a fun, jungly print. It's got some animals to it, some florals to it. It's really fun, and I've been waiting for the perfect project to use it, but you know what? I love the colors. When it comes down to it, that's what's really going to show off in this quilt is the colors. The only other fabric that I'm buying for this quilt top is this fabric right here, and it's a gorgeous print. It is going to give some very nice spots for your eyes to rest, okay? Because jelly rolls are fun, but there's lots of color everywhere. This is what the finished block looks like. I'm going to give you all of the measurements and everything, and then we're going to walk through how to sew it together. And then, if you can imagine, that block, very, very simple, right? I love using jelly rolls because it is everything you need in one package. Now, if you haven't done a jelly roll race quilt, I highly suggest you do one. I have a video that has helped tons and tons of like very first beginner quilters sew their first jelly roll race quilt. I walk with you step by step how to do that. I'm going to put a link across the top of the screen for you to follow that video because it's like the easiest of easy quilts. There's not a whole lot of like matching up of corners or anything like that. There's actually no matching up of corners in a jelly roll race quilt. So everything that you sew just comes together and it's very random and fun. Okay, so let's go through the measurements that you're going to need for this quilt. The biggest thing that you want to make sure that you are aware of and keep in your mind when you are cutting these is you want some variation, okay? Give me a project, I will over-engineer it for you, all right? That's why you guys learn from all of my big mistakes and why I share those mistakes. This project, I'm keeping it very, very simple. I am cutting all of these 42 strips. I'm doing 41 strips, and I'm going to use a combination of all of those strips to make these blocks. I don't want all of my smaller strips to be of a certain fabric, right? I want some small strips, some large strips in each of the fabric prints, okay? The first thing that you're going to need is that kind of like main, let's see, that background fabric. You could use charm squares for this. I did go ahead and do it at a charm square size, so it's a 5-inch square, right? You're gonna need this many of those squares. Now we're gonna move into the jelly roll strips. You're going to need 7-inch pieces, you're going to need 9-inch pieces, you're going to need 11-inch pieces, and you're going to need 13-inch pieces. These are the sizes and the number of pieces that you will need to make the quilt top at the size that I'm making it and showing you today. You can go ahead, pause this video if you need to, write down those strips that you're going to need, and then we're going to hop on over to the sewing machine and I'm going to show you how to assemble this block. It comes together very easy, and again, we want to make this as random as possible, and there's a couple things that I want to show you with the layout that you can do to kind of switch up things if you want to do a different layout, if you want to take the same idea and change it up, if you want to make this exact block but make multiple different quilt layouts with it. Does that make sense? Like, this block can do all kinds of different things just by rotating it in your final layout. So it's very versatile, but it's the same concept and it's very easy to put together, which is my favorite kind of quilt, right? It's probably your favorite kind of quilt too, I imagine. It's very simple, but it looks complicated and is always, always, always loved by the recipient. So the first step to piecing all of these blocks together. This is what your finished block looks like. Remember, this is what the finished block looks like. It is 13 inches square, okay? I like to do my piecing in chunks, right? So because this is a repetitive block, I have all of my pieces lined up over here on my sewing table next to my machine that I will use, but I have them lined up by size, right? So this is my 5-inch by, 2.5-inch pieces right here. These are my 5-inch squares, and I am just going to chain piece all of my 5-inch pieces right here with my 5-inch squares. Chain piecing them is going to make it to where I do less cutting, pulling, and it's just going to get them all done at once. Then we'll do the next step in the same manner, okay? So that's kind of what like blocking your tasks is going to do. It's going to allow you to do things in a more efficient manner. So we'll do all of this, then we'll go to the next size piece. Now, because we're making this random, all I want to worry about is that the piece that I choose next doesn't match the piece that I just attached, okay? So you may have to do a little bit of, varying of your pieces. Like for instance, on this one, I don't want to put too much pink in one block. I really want to make sure that my colors are dispersed throughout, okay? So I've got like a pink here, I've got a purple here, I have a blue here, and I have like a green here, but I don't have like 2 pinks next to each other or 2 greens next to each other. It's not a must. Really, once you get all of this all over together, it's gonna be beautiful, but you don't want it to look planned. All right, that's what the goal is. You don't want it to look planned. So I'm going to take all of these that I have left here because I already have some of them where I've sewn the 5-inch pieces on like this, and I've got them right here. Then I will take all of these to the ironing board and I will iron them all flat, then work on the next piece. Same thing again, chain piece them, cut them all up, and then iron them, and then work on the next piece. So let's get started.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just 2 hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be 2 hearts running wild.
When I like to iron, I sometimes iron from the back side and I sometimes iron from the front side. I always like to iron with my seams pressed to the side just because it's easier. And if you're working with one seam like this and it's straight, push to the darker side, which in every fabric of this project is going to be on this 2.5-inch jelly roll strip right here because this fabric is so light. So when I did that, I took this, I pushed it this way and made my seam go that way. Once I get done with this, I will go over it with like my favorite flatter spray, but for this right now where I'm just making it nice and flat so I can do the next seam, I'm not going to worry about using the flatter spray. while you're getting your supplies together and you are following along on this video, if you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It also makes us like quilt besties. That's a perk. If you hit the subscribe button on my channel, okay? It makes us quilt besties, and you can hop on over to my channel whenever I post new content, check out what I am doing in my sewing room and all of the wonderful things that I'm creating. So now I have a whole bunch of these done and ironed. That is what makes this project so easy, is first step on all of my blocks is done. Now I get to take the next set of strips that I have cut here. These are my 7-inch strips, and I am just going to simply grab one of these and one of these and sew it on this side, just like you would a log cabin style. All right, we're gonna do log cabin style, only we're not going all the way around on 4 sides, right? We're just going on the 2 sides, keeping this as the top corner. If you have, like I do on this one, where it wasn't perfectly cut straight, let me see if I can zoom in to that a little bit. Can you see where it's a little bit off right there? Don't worry about that, okay? We're gonna make this easy. If you are sewing on that side, what you can do is line this up like so. Right side, whoa, let's fix that. Right sides of your fabric together and leave that sticking out just a little bit. That'll get lost in your seam allowances and you'll never know about it, okay? If it really does bother you, you can go and trim it before you do this step. But I like to keep things as simple as possible, all right? So leave that tucked into your seam allowance. Don't worry about it. So all the way down on one side. The only suggestion I can give you about pairing your fabrics is this. All of your jelly roll strips go together. What's going to hinder your fabric placement in this is if you get too many fabrics that are the same color and the same value close together, your eye is going to register it as the same color. So for instance, this one, I got a green strip here, I'm putting an orange strip, or I could put a pink strip, or I could put a lime green strip, you know, just kind of vary it. And once you get down to like 10 or so left, pay a little bit more attention to which ones you're picking where, so that you can make better decisions that way, okay? All right, let's get sewing. I've got my design board here behind me, and I think I have landed on a arrangement that I really like with the squares. So I've got it where you can kind of see like these two squares are kind of paired up a little bit every now and then. The different pieces are going different ways, which kind of creates this, I don't know, I like it. I don't know what to call it, but I'm settling on it. I really like it. I can move out of the way a little bit more so you can see, but there's lots of different ways that you can do this. So play with it. See what you like. Now, obviously, I still have to sew all of these blocks together. I'm not quite there just yet being done, but this has taken me about half a day to put together. Yeah, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. So if you need a video on how to put together your block so that your corners match up, I tried to minimize that when I was doing this layout here, as far as like all of, you know, these pieces matching up with other pieces going that way. But if you need a video on how to chain piece your project together to get your blocks to match up at the corners, I have a video on that. It's very simple, super informative, and it's one of my more popular videos. So go check out that video as you put together your quilt top. So I told you earlier that there are a couple different ways that you can do the pieces once you have all of the blocks assembled, which, you know, they're pretty good sized blocks. So you will make a big quilt top fairly quickly with this pattern, okay? This is one that you can stretch into a pretty nice size quilt top pretty easily, right? Okay, so all of the different ways that you can combine these. I do have a video that shows how I put together my design wall. Guys, it's so simple to put together. Like it's really nothing complicated. Most of the time when I show people how I built my design board, it's way simpler than you think. I encourage you to play with those blocks. See if you can put them in different arrangements and make different patterns with them. It's gorgeous. I love these fabrics. I'm so happy to see them out of that cute little roll that has been on my shelf for probably over a year now, just waiting for the right project to come along and waiting for me to say enough is enough. So that is a finished quilt top. I love the way that it turned out. Easy to put together, easy to follow pattern. It's great. I love it. My wish is for you to find something as easy and simple as this that makes you happy and uses up that gorgeous fabric that you've been holding on to, afraid to let go of, or you just need a quick quilt that looks complicated, looks fun, looks like you put some work into it, right? But is actually a very easy to follow pattern, right? I love those projects. Love them, love them, love them. So let me know if you are going to make this quilt pattern. I would love to hear your thoughts and your comments down in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this quilt. I hope that you have a wonderful day and enjoy your start to the new year. I'm Kristen with ICStarsQuilting.com. I'll see you soon. Bye.